And welcome back to our program. It is Hockey Talk here on WNFL. Just getting through the program tonight. It's been a fun one. Scott Jewett, Kyle Lewis. We just had Chris Grando, John Leonard in studio. Of course, we're preparing for a pair of games at home. It is Bobcat night on the Friday the 27th, presented by Miller Lite. $3 medium Miller Lite beer special. Of course, great group discounts. You can call Greg Lynch in the front office at 405-1150. That coming on the tails of Dash for Cash on the 28th. And that's a festival food family night presented by North Shore Bank. A $2 jumbo hot dogs, $2 sodas. We're going to have 27 teachers diving out into $7,500 cash. So that should be great. Whatever they collect will go back to the classrooms. Last year, just under $10,000 raised for local teachers. This year, hopefully more. But that's coming up this weekend. It is Bobcat weekend with a jersey unveil today. We spent some time in Brown County Arena, brought up some great feelings reading some of those old articles, and it's great to be joined by former Green Bay Bobcat USHL champion for the 1972 team, Carl Lackey. Carl, how you doing?
Doing real good. Yourself?
We're doing great. Now, little nostalgia, just walking through the halls of Brown County Arena. We did the jersey unveil there with our captain, Jared Spooner, but just to see the Bobcat, Carl Lackey, number 6, right next to Paul Capos. I wasn't in Green Bay at that point for the 1972 season. I know my parents went to a lot of Bobcat games, but just got this, this feeling, like it's an unbelievable feeling, like chills when I saw that in the arena.
Yeah.
So
that was an interesting season. That 1972, that was the Olympic year, and we had several of our players had to leave us partway through the season and go play with the Olympic team over in Sapporo, Japan. And even though some of them had to go, our team, we had a pretty good nucleus. Had a lot of good players that still remained, that was a great season.
So Carl, I want to take some time with Scott here tonight to go through the roster here, because of course with Bobcat night we're going to give 1,000 t-shirts out to the first 1,000 fans on Friday night that will have the names of the 1972 championship team on them, compliments of Menominee Casino Resort. But I want to just read off the names, and if you have a quick story or a quick thought or something that comes to your head, just let us know. And I'm going to start with number 1, Mike Curran.
Mikey Curran, yeah, he was our goaltender, ended up leaving partway through the season to go with the Olympic team. What a competitor. Ended up, after he was done, went and played with Minnesota. It wasn't the North. Yeah, it was the North Stars. I guess that's when they were in that new hockey league that was getting started. He was their goaltender, and he was a great goaltender.
And then backup goalie Ron Beck.
Ronnie Beck, yep. We had Ronnie Beck come in, did a great job. He was a super goaltender as well. Ends up being a beer distributor in St. Cloud, Minnesota, but Ronnie did a great job for us. Just a great goaltender from International Falls.
Left wing defense, Gerard Fournette.
Jerry Fournette. Oh, everybody knows Jerry Fournette. Yeah, he is still in the Green Bay area. Jerry was with the Bobcats for a lot of years, and he was one of the old steady hockey players, and he played not only defense, but he was very versatile. We could play him in forward, play him in defense. When we needed to shake things up, we got Fuzzy on the ice, and he made things happen.
Fuzzy Fournette, what a name, eh?
Oh, boy, he sure lived up to it also.
I bet you have a nickname for every single one of these guys, Carl, and the stories must be unbelievable.
Everybody. Well, that seems to be the thing with hockey players. Sooner or later, you're going to get a nickname, and that's the fun part of it. And it's usually the backstory that is the real fun one. Yes.
See, I know last week when we were talking about Rags Ruelli, I thought it was more because he was a scrapper and whatnot, and you basically told me it's because his suits were better, or his clothes were better than everybody else's.
Yeah, he dressed pretty neat. That's where, of course, he got the name Rags.
So what about Randy MacArthur?
Randy MacArthur, yes. Randy came to us from Lake Superior State. He was a great hockey player there. He worked at NWTC for a lot of years. He was a good centerman. He could control that puck. And out at NWTC, he was an accountant instructor for a good number of years. Right now, he lives in Green Bay in the summer and in the Tampa area during the winter.
What about sweet Carl Lackey yourself? What would somebody say about you back in the day?
Well, he was an educator in the Green Bay school system for a number of years, and I got a chance to play in three times with the world team, and I had a great hockey experience as well as an education experience with the Green Bay school system.
And I might add, an all-around great guy, right, Carl?
Well, we hope so.
What about John Harpel?
John Harpel, yeah, he still lives in the Green Bay area, and he worked most of the time after he was done hockey with Peterbilt. He worked with them over in the pier, and John, he played on the line with Emery Ruel, and they weren't the biggest guys in the world, but they could sure make things happen.
What about John Gibbs?
Johnny Gibbs, yeah, he's a kid that we got from the Detroit area, played with us. He ended up working for the Visitor Convention Bureau after he was done playing hockey with us. I think he's living in the Madison area now. John was an interesting kid. Just like anybody else coming from the Detroit area, he always had fun with them. They were easy, funny guys to be around.
Matt Oreskovich.
Oh, there's a guy that, in fact, many of you may know. He over in Clintonville, lives in Clintonville now. He owns Matthews Supper Club. He still, I think, owns that. I know the family does. He's been there for years. He's got a lot of hockey memorabilia over there, not only the Bobcats, but other hockey as well. But, he was a good hockey player.
Have a lot of these guys stayed local?
A lot of them did, yes. Now, some of the younger players we had playing with us at the time, they didn't. Like, for example, Stevie Ross. Now, his dad was the high school hockey coach for many years up at International Falls. Turned out a lot of great hockey players. And now Stevie Ross, we gave him the nickname Toplak. And I don't know what that was all about, but that was his nickname. And the crazy thing about him, and the last time I ever saw him, we got done playing. He was leaving, heading to California, going to get on a sailboat, and headed for Hawaii. And from what I hear, he made it and living somewhere up on the West Coast.
Well, when you mention Rags, that's Emery. He's a local man, too?
Yeah, that's right. Yes, he's still living in the Green Bay area as well.
What about Bob Empey?
Bob Empey, again, another college hockey player, came to us from out east. Bob worked with Procter & Gamble. After he was done playing, he got promoted, and Procter & Gamble became one of the higher echelons in that corporation in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I think he's still in that area.
Mike Funk.
Mike Funk lives in Green Bay. Mike is quite a character. He was probably one of the few local guys that grew up in the Green Bay area that played with us. He was there. He was a kid that he never quit. He played hockey as hard as he could and kept us going.
And one last thing for you. What's your fondest memory with the Capo boys?
The Capo boys. Oh, well, one of them, this is the funniest. We were in Marquette, and a lot of times when we're on our way home, this happened to be on a Saturday coming back from Marquette, we stopped at a liquor store, and Paul, he was mad that the way we had played. He said, no, we're not going to get anything. And finally, Mike, he convinced him he was selling some kind of nylon stockings at the time, and he said, I'll give you a couple pair of nylon stockings for your wife, Carol, and if you let me get out and get a couple of cases of beer. I mean, there's a lot of stories with those two, but they were fun to be around.
Perfect. Well, we appreciate it. It's an honor to honor you guys this upcoming weekend. So appreciate your time as always.
We appreciate it very much because those are great memories, and anything you do like that is just really appreciated.
Well, Carl, we appreciate your time, and we'll chat next week.
Sounds great. Thanks again, guys.
Thanks, Carl.
If Paul Capo is the godfather of hockey here, that's Carl Lackey, the ambassador of hockey in Green Bay. We'll step out for a final break. Here to wrap it up, Hockey Talk on WNFL.
This is